art I.
Why does every persona or every new social link or confidant say that to you? Could it be to conjure up images of the bard to give some weighty biblical ethos to what's being said? In other words, just for emphasis? Probably, but not necessarily. To answer that question, we'll need to answer another question. Why in Shakespeare's play The Tempest, for example, does Miranda say, "If by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them"? But Prospero says, "Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said, thou wast my daughter, and thy father was Duke of Milan." Or maybe a better question would be, why would Rammstein say "Du hast mich" to people who buy his album, but say "Sie haben mich" to his coworkers or his boss? Or I mean, you could ask, why are Shakespeare and Rammstein being brought up in a video about Persona, but we'll get to that right now. We're getting to that right now. It's a short video with a short point. Come on, dude. Like English, like a lot of languages really, German has pronouns. English has third-person pronouns like he or she. German has the equivalents der and die, etc. But unlike English, which only has one second-person pronoun, two if you include y'all, German has a few more. Among those extra second-person pronouns are two used for the singular tense, du and sie. Sie is what is referred to as the formal you, a second-person singular pronoun that is specifically used in formal settings, with a coworker, with a boss, maybe with a parent, etc. Du, on the other hand, is the informal you. It's used among peers or friends. This means that even if you're saying the same thing, like let's say you're saying, "Do you have my pen?" you'd say them differently in different contexts. If you're asking a stranger, you might say, "Haben Sie meine Kugelschreiber?" I mean, you'd say it better because, I'm bad at German, but, you'd say that. But if you're asking your best buddy, your good, beautiful favorite pal, you'd say, "Hast du meine Kugelschreiber?" instead. Back in the 16th century, back in what language historians refer to as early modern English, we still had two different kinds of yous too. These go all the way back to Old English, which was far more complex, but the two yous are most often associated with Shakespeare and his two contemporaries. Only two. But the two yous are most often associated with Shakespeare and his contemporaries, aka the early modern English period. Back in old-timey Shakespeare times, you have was the English equivalent of sie haben, and thou hast was the equivalent of du hast. You was our formal you, and thou was our informal you. So when Miranda is speaking to her father with the formal you, she is appealing to his authority. In the passage I quoted earlier, she is asking him if he is responsible for creating a storm that targeted a ship of nobles, appealing to his authority as a father, his authority over nature, and, basically his generally inflated ego. In order to appeal to him, she establishes a formal rapport, adopting the you best suited for formality. Meanwhile, Prospero uses the informal you, thou. While he's partially using it in a diminutive manner as a way of demonstrating his authority over her, he's also speaking of family. He's speaking of her late mother. Thou is both there to maintain a form of hierarchy, but also to draw upon family ties, because thou and thy are about familiarity. Which brings us back to persona. In Persona 5, when you talk to the shadows, they are always using you. You are their enemy. They are defending the owner of the palace that you are invading. There's naturally some distance in their language with their word choice. However, once they join you, once they become part of you, they say, "I am thou." That already literally means "I am you," but the thou there emphasizes that point by suggesting a sense of familiarity, of closeness. It then also emphasizes the closeness you have with the bonds you make with your confidants and social links. And what could be closer than an aspect of your personality? Or the video game character? Or Mara? Hey, thanks for watching this video. Don't come back. Get out. Leave.